Prabha, you are mute. Prabha जी आप म्यूट हो. प्रभा जी आप म्यूट हो. प्रभा जी you are muted.
So sorry, I'll do it again. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airiyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savasaunam. Jai Jinendra Sabiko. Today is our 14th day of the 18-day Paryushan Parv we are celebrating. And today we are going to do the 10th bhavana out of the 12 bhavana. Today is Loka bhavana, and we will have Swasti present from the junior speakers, and Dr. Pridarshana Jain will be presenting later. So let me first introduce Swasti. Swasti, beta, please adjust your laptop so you're closer, beta. Thank you. Okay, Swasti Jain is with us. She is 12 years old. She goes to Transit Middle School. She's in grade 7. She is associated with Hindu Jain Cultural Center, Buffalo. And she is, of course, interested in Jainism. That's why she's prepared this wonderful presentation. Her mentor at home is her mother, her mom. And she's interested in arts and reading as hobbies. Welcome, Swasti. And over to you.
Thank you. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. Lok Bhavna. What is 12 Bhavna and why should we practice it? The 12 Bhavna are 12 mental thoughts that a Jain ascetic and practitioner should practice on a regular basis.
Can you speak a little louder, Swasti, please?
The 12 Bhavna are 12 mental thoughts that a Jain ascetic and practitioner should practice on a regular basis. The reason we should practice the 12th bhavana is because it clears our thought process. By practicing the 12th bhavana, we understand the reality behind Vastu Swarup. These 12 bhavanas are like jewels to all Muniraj. They keep meditating on these 12 bhavana to purify their soul. What is Lok? Lokakash, or Teen Lok, is a place where living and non-living things live. The space outside Lokakash is called Alokakash. The Lokakash is surrounded by Vatvale, or condensed air. The shape of Lokakash resembles a man with his hand on his hips, with widespread legs and a downwards bent head. Lokakash is considered in 3 parts: Urdhvalok, Madhyalok, and Adholok. The lok is filled with 6 dravya. The 6 dravya are Jeev, Pudgal, Dharm, Adharm, Akash, and Kal. Urdhvalok, where Dev live, is about 7 Raju tall. Madhyalok, where humans and animals live, is about 100 yojin tall. 100,000 yojin. Adholok, where Narki Jeev live, is about 7 Raju tall. The full height of Lokakash is 14 Raju. The depth of Lokakash is 7 Raju. There are 16 levels of Urdhvalok. There is also 7 levels of Adholok. The Siddhishira is around 21 yojin wide. What is Lokpavna? What is its purpose, and how is it beneficial? Lokpavna teaches us that without real knowledge and infinite peace, there is no happiness in this world. The purpose of Lokpavna is to find Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and infinite peace. It is beneficial to us because it teaches us how our soul is the only useful thing in the entire lok, and that all the knowledge you need is within your soul. In this world, living beings experience the happiness and sorrow they have earned by their deeds, and again experience the birth and death in this terrible ocean of existence. There is a mother in this world. She becomes a daughter becomes a mother. Man becomes woman, and woman becomes man. Even a king who is powerful hangs in an unclean place due to his actions. So be ashamed to live in such a world. In this way, the nature of the people should be cursed so that Dev and Indra with the great Vidhis, after enjoying the unparalleled happiness, are the ones to suffer sorrow. In this way, knowing the world as vain or insignificant, and knowing the world to be infinite and the place of infinite happiness. Jodhara Jutanganabh Loka Purush Santan Tame Jivanadi Se Paramata Hai Bhina Gyan. This universe is 14 Raju in height and resembles the shape of a man. In this universe, without real knowledge, infinite living beings are wandering from eternity. Lokasarupa vicharike Atamarupa nihar Paramata vyavahara guni Mithya bhava nivari. By observing and thinking about Lok, understand, introspect and merge with your soul. By understanding Nishchay and Vyavahar, we should destroy all inclinations towards wrong faith. Jai Jayendra, thank you Prabha Auntie for this opportunity and practicing with me. Thank you Mom and Dad for helping me understand this topic.
Excellent. So proud of you, Swasti. I know the kids do extensive research in the process. They learn a lot themselves. And sometimes even if their mom or dad help them, it's still great for them to be able to learn so much. So really appreciate, you doing this research for yourself. And before I introduce our speaker, as we are doing this every day, this is also called Das Lakshan Parva, and Dharm ke Das Lakshan are remembered during these 10 days. Obviously, we have purposely chosen not to do that every day. Instead, we have chosen a different topic, but every day I'm going to give you a couple minutes of synopsis of that. So today is Uttam Tap. And Tap, as we all know, As you know, we just finished the Shwetambar Paryushan, and people have done 68 upvas and 36 upvas and 28, and so many bigger centers have so many people doing tap. But that is not the only tap, right? So first I'll go through the vyavhar taps. Ichha nirodhasta tap. So being able to control your desires is really what is tap. So during these Paryushan times, people particularly practice that. They are able to do upvas, and some of it has to do with the tithis, why people are, even those who don't ever do upvas, they are able to do it during this time. And then people, want to be close to their soul. They do try to reduce their desires. They even desires of, going to the mall, watching TV, a lot of those things people do try to control, and control is what tap is. So now let me briefly tell you, there is 12 types of tap, 6 antar and 6 bahya. And 6 antar tap are prayashchit. So prayashchit is a word we have heard, those who have done pratikraman during these Paryushan days. Prayashchit is part of that pratikraman, which is the removal of sins committed by negligence or under the influence of passions. Second is Vinay, paying respect to the holy personages. Now there's 4 types of Vinay: Gyan, Darshan, Charitra, and Vyavhar Vinay, or Upchar Vinay is really what it's called. So of course you have extreme Vinay towards the knowledge and Shraddha and all those things. But then Upchar Vinay, which means Upchar se we do Bhagwan ke Gungan, we praise the Lord, we do pujas, all that is Upchar Vinay. The Vaiyavritti, which is service, rendering help to the saints in difficulty by bodily activity or offering the sanctioned articles. Swadhyay, study, reading or teaching, questioning to remove doubts, reflection, recitation, and preaching. And I hope you all guessed now. Which tap are we doing right now? We're doing all of this, right? We are reading, we are, listening is same thing as, sort of reading, asking our doubts. Bhavna is 12 reflections. So this is all, part of that Swadhyayata. Vyutsar, giving up of the attitude of I and mine. Being equanimous, internal detachment of mind from passions and emotions, and also giving up of worldly objects. Dhyan, meditation, self-contemplation coupled with checking of ramblings of mind. And then there are some Bhayata, which are more visible to people. One is Anshan, also called as Upvas, which is and then Unodri, which is eating a little less than a full stomach. Vritti Sankshep, which is you control the extreme desire to eat certain things. So you limit your articles, and whatever changes, limits your vritti. Then Ras Parityag, a lot of people, if you have heard, they do Ayambil, which is you don't use the tasty, whatever makes the food tasty, whether it's oils, whether it's salt and mirchi and masalas and all those things. Then Kaya Klesh. Kaya Klesh is, even though it sounds like, torturing your body, it is not that. Basically, what it's saying is to remind yourself that I am the soul, I'm not the body. So let's say it was too hot today and the air conditioner broke down. So if you tolerate that without much fuss, that is called Kaya Klesh. That you're trying to experience it without, feeling bad about it. And then Pati Samlina. So these are the 12 tap, and we talked about Vinay. And of course, as part of Swadhyaya, we already, talked about a little bit in detail because that is more applicable here. So these are all the taps that we can keep in mind and practice those the rest of the 3-4 days that are left of the Paryushan. Now, in spite of doing all these, of course they should be practiced, but still we should keep in mind that being in your pure soul is still the ultimate. And there's Daulat Ramji has written this verse. It says, Koti janya tap tape, Gyan bin karma chareje, Gyani ke chinamahi, Trigupti te sahaj tarete. So what it means is the wrong believer or ignorant self, or mithyatvi as they call it, who does not know the difference between the body and the soul, undergoes severe penances. So of course, any mithyatvi who is doing all of these penances, even then he cannot achieve liberation in samadhi, shatak. So basically what they're saying is that those who don't experience their soul, even if they do lot and lot of tap, so without the knowledge, all the karmas that they get rid of is almost nothing as compared to Gyani, which is Samyak Drashti, Ke Chinnamahi, means in a very small fraction of a second, Rigupti Te Sahashtarete. So they are able to shed karmas much, much, much faster just by being in their pure soul. So it makes more sense to put your effort towards knowing the soul and being in it than spend all your time in the tap. That's just a matter of priority. That does not mean you need to stop doing the tap or doing any of the kriyas that you currently do. So that was just a very brief synopsis of Uttam Tap. Now let's move on to our topic of Lok Bhavna, and I will introduce our speaker today. We have with us Dr. Pridarshana Jain, and obviously she's not new to us. Everybody has experienced a lot of her lectures, but I will still do the formality of briefly introducing her. Dr. Pridarshana Jain is professor. She's from Rajasthan, living in Chennai. She's MA, MPhil, and PhD in Jain studies. How wonderful it is that she has made Jainism as her profession. So she gets all the opportunity in the world to learn it. And, she has to say it so often that she has it all memorized pretty much. She has a diploma in Prakrit and master diploma in naturopathy and yogic sciences. She is professor and head of the Department of Jainology at University of Madras, Chennai right now. She has been practicing Jain and teaching Jainism for past 30 years and Prakrit for past 22 years. She's a resource person for International School of Jain Studies, where she has been teaching foreign scholars for the past 15 years. She was part of an interfaith religious delegation sponsored by the US Department of State, wherein she represented Jainism at different cities in the USA. She has written, edited, translated, and published books and articles. She's a resource person for Parmagam Honors course, where she's currently teaching 3 batches. She has 55 full-time students that are doing masters in Jain studies under her guidance. And the last she told me she has, I think, done 7 PhDs under her. So as you can see, Priyadarshana ji comes with a wealth of knowledge, and she loves to share it with people. And we definitely want to take advantage of her passion to teach this knowledge. Welcome, Priyadarshana ji. Over to you.
Jai Jinendra. Can I be spotlighted?
You are.
Okay.
See ya.
Thank you. Jai Jinendra once again. I would like to, am I audible? Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, yes.
I would like to begin my talk with a small stanza from an arti. Okay. Jayadev, Jayadev, Jaya Pancha Paramapada Swami, Prabhu Pancha Paramapada Swami. मोहादिक हणिया थी, मोहादिक हणिया थी, अनंत गुणधामी, जय देव, जय देव। लोकालोक प्रकाशक, सूर्य प्रगट ज्ञानी, प्रभु सूर्य प्रगट ज्ञानी। आरती करी जीव पामे, आरती करी जीव पामे, शिव पद सुख खानी, जय देव, जय देव। It goes on. It's a beautiful arati by Kripalu Dev, Srimad Rajchandra. And it says that the translation I'll give you of this arati, this invocation that I've just done for you, and then move on to my lecture. May victory be to the 5 supreme personalities of Godhead, the Arhats, the Siddhas, the Acharyas, the Upadhyayas, and the Sadhus in the entire Loka. May victory be to them. Salutation to them. Hats off to them. The top 5 people in the whole universe. May victory be to them. And who are they? They are the ones who have destroyed the great heaps of karmas, and they are the ones who are enjoying the abode of infinite pure soul properties. And then, because they are enjoying their own inner loka, the entire lokalok, lok means the universe, and alok means the infinite space that is outside the universe of the Jain, the structure, the lokus swarup, the Purushakar loka. So lok and alok prakashak, they are the ones who are cognizing the entire universe with all the dravya, guna, pariyai, the substances, the qualities, and the modifications, the modes of all the living beings and non-living beings simultaneously in one unit of time. Okay, that is the introduction, or that is what Bhagwan is. Surya Pragat Jnani. Okay, like a Surya, like a Jnana Surya. When it is dark in the night and when the sun rises, even a small ray of the sun dispels the darkness, and the entire sun, okay, it illumines the whole world. In that light you can see the whole world. So likewise, they are the ones who have given us the great Jinvani, and they have shed light on entire tattvas. And when we know those tattvas, the darkness of ignorance that is there in us will be dispelled. So arati means adoration, worship of these great jivas should help us to come to help us to realize our inner loka, Shiva Pada. And it should enable us to realize that Shiva Pada here and now. When I say here and now, I mean here and now. The pathway of moksha begins here and now. If not now, we don't know when. If not here, then where? So this is my small invocation. And now I'm thankful to Jaina and Prabhaji and all of you for the wonderful swadhyay that we all are doing with the help of the Jaina platform and Prabhaji's efforts. She has put in so much effort to engage the junior scholars, to prepare for the Lakshan speeches, and to call all the scholars and get all the things done. So it's a lot of effort from her. I salute her spirit of volunteering to do this program. For whom? Not for you, but for our own selves, we are doing it. And you are all the nimit in that. Okay. So even if one person is there, we enjoy doing what we are doing. And if the whole Jaina family is there, that will be the greatest thing on earth, I think. If all the members of the Jaina could listen to these lectures and take it to their countries. When I say countries, I mean, look at yesterday's news. Europe is going through a very severe crisis, the energy crisis, the gas pipelines, not there. Winter is knocking at their door and they're all on the road, panicking. What will happen if there's no electricity, if there's no gas, and if there's no current, how will they survive? And look at our acharyas. Okay, till the 18th century, before the Industrial Revolution, there was no electricity. If I'm right, okay. I don't know when Edison Baba invented the electricity and when it came down. So whatever, before that, there was no electricity, there was no current. Yet our acharyas, they dive deep into the inner loka and they churned out the great scriptures for us based on the Shruti Parampara that came down from the Tirthankars to the Ganadharas and then to the Acharyas, the Shruta Kevalis, and then to all these Acharyas. They never panicked, they never came on the road. We lived in the dark ages, but we were not in the dark ages literally, because we were in the age of Gyan, Dhyan, enlightenment, and trying to explore the inner loka, which will illumine the whole world. So if these lectures are given to people in Belgium, if it is given to people in Portugal, if it is given to people in France and Germany, and if they can understand their inner loka, and they can what to say, make peace and not be in artha dhyan, in mournful contemplation. So you and I are so very lucky to get to listen to this Jinvani again and again and again. And then why we have to listen? So that we understand our inner loka. So what I was doing right now is the loka swarupa bhavana. Contemplating on the loka swarupa. We had Swasti, our junior scholar, telling us about the external loka. It is in the form of the purushakar. Purush means human being. Purush also means atma. And akar means structure. So quickly with an example, I would like to tell you that one father had a son, and that son was a little small boy, say 10-year-old or 5-year-old, whatever. And he was very naughty, running here and there. So the father had to engage the child with something. So he did a small activity. He gave him a globe map. He gave him a globe map, a jigsaw puzzle of a globe ka map. And he told the child to fix it. Okay. And he thought the child may not be able. It was not a jigsaw puzzle. It was a map that was torn or whatever it is. And he told him to make it a structure. And the child very quickly, within 5-10 minutes, he fixed up the structure. And now the father asked, how did you do it? How can you fix a globe ka map? You know, if I give you a globe ka map and tell you to do it, and I tell you I'll give you 1 lakh rupees, you will not be able to do it because all the lines look same. Then the child said, Papa, look piche. Look at the back. What is there? It is a human being. I only fix the human being, the structure of the human being, and the lok got fixed and the globe got fixed. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is that if you can understand your inner purushakar, purushakar means your inner structure, then the entire loka universe will be reflected in it. But on the other hand, if you try to understand the loka outside, explore the world outside, the world of atoms, the world of molecules, the world of microbiology, the world of biology and zoology and psychology and political science and engineering and all this. With all these degrees and studies, you try to get the knowledge of the external world. It won't be enough. It is endless. The lok is endless. Anant Jeev, Anant Akash, Anant Pudgal. How much can you know in one lifetime? So whatever journey you do outside, it will remain incomplete until and unless you fix your goal of traveling inside, journeying inside, exploring the inner loka. So when we say loka swarupa bhavana, we mean the contemplation on the inner loka. And by then the explanation of the external loka is given. Okay, so when you explore the inner loka, you are going to get the knowledge of the whole of the external loka also. So that time you should not, so when you meditate, you may explore so many lokas inside. Then you should understand that that is not the real loka, but the loka, the whole universe that is reflected, is the same one that Bhagwan has told. So again, you don't get carried up. I'll give you another example. Supposing you go to Disneyland and I tell you, I give you a very nice room and I tell you to meditate over there. And you've just landed in Disneyland and I tell you to meditate. Now, will you be able to meditate? What will your mind say? Oh, I've come to Disneyland. I've paid this many dollars for the entry. And I have come to see what is happening there, what is happening there, what is happening there, what is happening there. I have to know everything outside. Right? Your mind will want to wander outside and not get fixed on the soul inside. So what they are trying to tell us is that now supposing you have explored the whole of Disneyland. And now I tell you, you meditate on yourself. Now you have seen the whole of Disneyland. You've just come to see, not to have the pleasure of it or whatever it is. Your purpose was only to inspect and see. Now that you have inspected, now that you have seen, now I tell you, you sit and meditate. Or you go beyond what you have seen. Is it possible? Again, it would not be possible. Unless otherwise you know the purpose, why I have to go inside. What will I benefit? What will I get out of it? So until and unless you know that, you will not be able to take a trip down your pure soul and explore it and get the knowledge of the whole universe without any effort. Effortless, the law of effortlessness. The more effort you apply to know the loka means the universe, it will elude you. And the more you detach from it, it will come behind you. Take the example of Vishnu and Lakshmi. Vishnu is on Sheshanag. You know Sheshanag, the serpent. Okay, the serpent king, Vasuki, or whatever. I don't know the name. So yeah, I think it should be that. And then Vishnu is the supreme pure soul tattva, which is resting in itself. And because it is resting in itself, it is detached from the world. Lakshmi, after whom the whole world runs, is sitting at his feet. And he is not bothered. And then he has the serpent over his head. He's fearless. And he's on the Kshira Samudra. He's on the ocean. He's on the ocean. So that is how in Hindu mythology Vishnu is depicted. But what is it symbolic of? It says the Atma is the Vishnu Tattva. And Lakshmi is the infinite properties of the soul that are there waiting to be enjoyed and explored. And when you explore those inner qualities, you will become fearless of the world. You'll become fearless of birth and death. You'll become fearless of corona. You'll become fearless of all kinds of pandemics. You'll become fearless of all kinds of blackouts and anybody leaving you, whatever it is. Nothing is going to affect you. You know, so when your gyan, when your attitude, when your vision becomes right, the conduct of fearlessness blossoms inside the soul. So Loka Swarup Bhavana is meditating on the inner Loka. When you meditate on the inner Loka means the nature of the pure soul, which is Jnana Swarupa, Darshana Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa. If I can give you a very beautiful chart and if you all can take it, please take it. I'm going to share it on the blackboard and you're all going to love me for that. Please take it, all of you. If you have a notebook and pen, please take it. I'm going to give it to you. Please, please, please take it. So right over here, Sat, Chit, Anand. Please, all of you note down. I'll translate this in English. Sat means existence, being. We are all living beings. Chit means consciousness. And Anand means bliss. This is our inner Loka. This is our inner Loka. God is consciousness, existence, and bliss. We are also consciousness, existence, and bliss. But we don't have the realization of it. We don't have the realization of this. We don't believe in this. So we are in the bondaged state. Now this Sat is called as life, eternal life. And consciousness is like the light. And this Anand is love. Now, when this life, light, and love is not realized, explored, accomplished, adored, worshipped, meditated upon, this entity, this living being, since time immemorial, is with a set of karmas. It is conditioned in the material world. It comes in a body. Not it comes in a body, it is ever found in a physical gross form also. Even though this is abstract, all this is abstract reality, this jiva, okay, descends in different bodies, in different births. And there, this life will be called as prana. Prana. And this light will be called as tejas. And this love will be called as ojas. This prana is our breath. And tejas is the fire, the jataragni, the warmth that keeps the body, the fire that keeps the body warm. And ojas is our what to say, virya shakti, the sperms, the ovum, and etc. All they are made of water. And this is fire, and this is air. So here again, I will put this as air, fire, water in the body, in the presence of these three. These three in the body work in this form. Now this air, you can understand as Vayu, Vat, and fire is Pitta, and water is Kapha. This air is Vat, Vayu, fire is the Pitta, Pitta is the bile, the acidity, and this water is the Kapha. And when these three are either less or more, then that state is called disease. So you balance all the three and you keep doing Kayotsarga. Kayotsarga means what? Kausag. There you have to do the pranayam. You can reach this life. You can enjoy this Satchidanand state. Am I clear to everybody? Can I just have a thumbs up if you have understood what I tried to say, right? So when you meditate on the inner world, you get physical fitness, you get mental alertness, and spiritual growth, spiritual progress. All the three you will achieve. So this is how holistically you have to understand Dharma Dhyan and move towards Shukla Dhyan. Dharma Dhyan is righteous contemplation. And Shukla Dhyan is the pure contemplation on the soul. So all the 12 bhavanas come under Dharma Dhyan. Come under Dharma Dhyan. And under Dharma Dhyan, you have 4 divisions. Agya Vichay, Apaya Vichay, Vipaka Vichay, and Sanstana Vichay. in simple words, Agya Vichay means contemplation on the commandments of Paramatma. What does Bhagwan want from you? He does not want anything from you. He wants for you that you understand the reality and liberate yourself. Realize the soul that is, there's a beautiful infinite lokas can be cognized in the jiva at any particular time. That is the Ananta Keval Gyan ki Paryay. Infinite lokas of past, present, future, living, non-living, everything. Provided you know the way. Provided you have Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and then Samyak Charitra, and then comes Samyak Tap, and under Tap comes Dhyan, and under Dhyan comes Agya, Apay, Vipak, Sansthan Vichay. So Agya Vichay is contemplation on the Paramatma's Agya. Then Apay means what should be my aim, what upay, what method I should do to realize Bhagwan's Agya. And that is, what is Bhagwan's Agya? That you are a pure soul, you're a divine soul. Your consciousness, your existence, you're all bliss. Your Jnana Swarup, your Gyayak Bhav, that is your inner loka. Explore it, accomplish it. First of all, realize it, believe in it, know it, and then absorb in it. And as we try to absorb in it, there will be the uday, vipak, fruition of karmas. And then you meditate, you say, oh, this is my karma uday. This particular minute, this thought I had to get, that is my karma uday. Now let me not get associated with it. And go into the world of moha rag dvesh. Let me remain in myself. So seema, apni seema mein rehna, to be in our own limits is seemandhar. And a person who tries to be in his own limits will go to Mahavidya Kshetra, and in one bhav, he can get Keval Gyan and he can go to moksha. It is possible, why not? When at the end of 5th Ara, there will be one family, Sadhu, Sadhvi, Shravak and Shravika, who will be one bhav avatari, who will take one bhav and go to moksha. Why not you and I today be that one soul today? So at the end of fag end of the 5th Ara, when there can be 4 virtuous jivas, why cannot I be that virtuous jiva today, here and now? So the karma uday will come. So you all know this computer, phrase, G-I-G-O. If you want, you can write it down. G-I-G-O. That means what? Garbage in, garbage out. So when you're meditating, all the garbage of anger, desire, greed, food, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. So the living being is not interested in being, but it is interested in doing. It is interested in eating, doing, sleeping, fighting. It is interested in those INGs, and it is not interested in the ING of being, which is consciousness and bliss, the real happiness, waiting to be tapped. But we don't know this inner loka. So the karma uday comes, the fruition of karma comes, we get carried away by it, and we go back into the material world of karmas and ignorance and bondage. So again, when you meditate, again, understand, this is my karma uday, come back to the soul. And when you come back, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to meditate on the sansthan, the structure of the soul, which is abstract, which is formless. So now we have our Acharang Sutra, the first Anga Agama, which says that Bhagwan Mahavir, they address him as Loka Vipassi. Vipassi means what? Pashya, Vipashna. Pashya means to see, and Vipashya means to see properly, to see clearly. And Bhagwan was a Loka Vipassi. So he was also meditating on the Loka, and there very clearly it is mentioned that he was meditating on the inner Loka. The Urdhva Madhya Adho Loka in the body. He could meditate on every cell in his body. He could meditate on every tissue and organ in his body. And through his body, he could go beyond the body and experience the pure soul. Because the pure soul resides in the body. So the only way out is within. So you have to know the human anatomy, you have to know the human psychology, and then you have to know spirituality, and then you transcend the body, mind, and speech, and you enter the world of Gyan, Darshan, Charitra, and then you realize the bliss, which is there here and now, but we are not able to see it because we want to see it with these eyes of flesh and not with the eyes of Gyan, with the eyes of Darshan. So seeing it with the eyes of Gyan Darshan is called tap. And then what you benefit is detachment, the world of detachment. And in the world of detachment, you will experience the world of fearlessness, the world of enlightenment, everything, everything. There will be nothing that will be remain to be done. Krit kritya, you will become krit kritya. You'll be an accomplished soul, no longer an imperfect bondage soul searching for happiness outside. So the Loka Swarup Bhavana should lead to the real Dharma Dhyan, and then the real Dharma Dhyan will lead to Shukla Dhyan. And that Shukla Dhyan is called as real meditation. And when we are not having these two, Dharma Dhyan and Shukla Dhyan, we will be in the world of Artha and Raudra Dhyan. Artha means worrying, anxiety, stress. And Raudra means cruel. We will be not enjoying the pleasures. We will take delight in enjoyment of the material world. We will delight in violence. We will delight in untruth. We will delight in stealing. We will delight in material pleasures. That delight is Raudra Dhyan. And Raudra Dhyan is done by a person who is placed comfortably in the world. Hinsa mein anand, parigrah mein anand. You make a lovely dish. Okay, you have made a beautiful dish, beautiful salad, I would say. How did you do it? By hinsa of the Vanaspati Jagat. And that Vanaspati mean the plants, they came to your house using the other earth, water, fire, air, and other kinds of life forms. They have been transported to your place and you cook the dish and you take delight in serving it. You take delight in feasting on it. So that delight is Raudra Dhyan. And that will keep you in the world of transmigration. If you have to eat the salad, simply eat it. But why is the need to take delight in it? Rather, you're supposed to take the salad or whatever the food that you're having, and you have to eat it, chew it 32 times. You have to add the saliva of your mouth to the food that you're eating. That food will give nutrition to the world, the loka of the body, the cells in your body. And when you eat that salad or the fruit or whatever it is, eat meditatively. When you're eating an apple, meditate. Meditate on the inner loka. I'm only a knower and seer that somebody's sitting here and eating this apple. I'm not the one who's eating that. The body needs the nutrition. I'm just giving it. But I'm knowing that I'm giving. So the knower is me and the doer is not me. It is my karma uday that is making me do this. So with the realization that I'm a knower and seer, when you say I am not the doer of this, it makes sense. But without that realization that I am a knower and seer, and you keep eating and you say, I'm not the one who's eating, I'm not. So this is all mayachari. This is cheating. This is great mithyatva. It will take you in the world from darkness to more darkness. Clear, friends? So you have sansara bhavana, you have loka bhavana. The third bhavana was sansara bhavana. And the 10th bhavana is the loka swarupa bhavana. Swarupa. So sansthana, which is meditating on the inner loka of Gyan, of Darshan, of Gyayak Bhav, of Gyata Drishta Bhav, etc., etc. So now if I have to talk about it, then I need another 1 hour of lecture, and already my time is going to be up. So you understand, so how important, and Jinvani talks nothing but exploring the inner world. I can give you so many ways and so many examples. So Jaina Federation is meant to teach the real Jinvani to the whole world. Who have it in them, they should take it to the whole world, whether it is Japan. Why only America? Why not Europe? Why not China? Why not Japan? Why not Korea? Why not India? Why not Bangladesh? Why not Australia? Why not Sri Lanka? Why not to South Africa? Why Jaina should confine only to America? Or why the Jain, the American, Indian, Jain origin people should confine this Jinvani only to America and India, or whatever it is. The whole world should rise up and understand this beautiful Jinvani. The world needs it today, friends. So here you have Sansara Bhavana and the Lokaswara Bhavana. What is the difference between them? The Sansara Bhavana tells us how worthless this sansara is. It's not worth pursuing. And Lokaswarup Bhavana tells us that that contemplate on the inner loka. Only then the real Dharma Dhyan or Shukla Dhyan will begin. So that is the difference in the purpose of these two bhavanas. Sansar Bhavana will talk about the suffering in the different existences. And Lokaswarup will tell you about the nature of this universe. So when you understand, see, we are doing the 12 bhavanas. Now, in that scheme of 12 bhavanas, you had the first 6 talking about the Jeev and Ajiva Tattva. Right? Anitya, Asharan, Sansar, Ekatva, Anyatva, Ashuchi. Through this, we were discussing how momentary, how shelterless, how worthless the material things are, and oneness with the pure soul is the 4th bhavana. And detachment from the other is the 5th bhavana. But still, when you're trying to contemplate on your soul, you will come out and immediately you will take cognizance of your body. And there again, the 6th bhavana will tell you that the body is nothing but filth. So again, go into your soul. So that is the 6th bhavana. Now the 7th bhavana, the Asrav bhavana, tells you that, hey, look, if you go outside, Asrav is happening. So again, go inside. Then the real samvar will happen. And what kind of samvar we should do? The samvar bhavana tells us. What kind of nirjara we should do? The nirjara bhavana tells us. And then with these 3, Asrav, Samvar, Nirjara, through the tattvas, we discussed so we completed the Jeev, Ajiv Tattva, Asrav, Samvar, Nirjara Tattva. And Asrav Tattva includes the Bandha Tattva. And when Samvar and Nirjara is there, Moksha Tattva is included. So Bandha Tattva and Moksha Bhavana, you don't have it separately. You don't have Jeev Bhavana separately, Ajiv Bhavana separately, Asrav, don't have Bandha and Moksha. They are all included in these 9. Now, with the help of the Loka Bhavana, they are trying to tell us that when you contemplate on your inner Loka, you will know the inner Loka also and the whole of the external Loka. So when you are meditating on your pure soul in Disneyland, you will know the infinite Disneylands sitting in that room. And you know the whole of Disneyland outside. So you know what is what. And you know that it is all momentary, it is all worthless, it is all shelterless. And if I go to that Disneyland, it is Asra. So I have to come to myself, then Samvar and Nirjara. So that way you revisit, you visit yourself again and again and again and again and again. So there's a very beautiful example of a bird sitting on a ship in the middle of an ocean, where there are no islands and no other ships around. Not even a raft or a log of wood is there around. So this bird wants to fly. You know, this bird is of the nature of flying. So it wants to fly, 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 fly. It flies a long distance, but then it doesn't see any resting place. It comes back to the ship. Again, the bird will fly. Again, it will come back to the ship. There's no resting place outside. Again, it will come back to the ship. How many times it will do like this? until and unless it is tired. No place outside. Now, this is an analogy I've given to explain that that ship is the pure soul and the bird is our mind, the ignorant mind, the arrogant mind, the kashai wala mind, which wants to get happiness outside and enlightenment outside. But there is nothing is permanent outside, no shelter outside. Everything is worthless outside. So again, it will come back to the self. Ekatva bhav. Again, it will go, again, it will come, again, it will go, again, it will come, till finally it goes deep inside and rests and relaxes and enjoys being in the pure soul. So we call it as Atma Ram. Atma me Aram. You will get it only when you understand the inner loka. And the Loka Swarup Bhavana tells us that if you don't meditate on the inner loka, you will wander in this 4 gati, 84 lakh jiva yonis lok outside. You have an open visa to travel in the entire universe, from Nigod to 9th Gravek. You can even travel to moksha in the Nigod form. If you have desire for moksha, but you don't know the way of moksha, you will go and inhabit the moksha land as a Nigodya jeev, as a Prithvikaika jeev. And again, until and unless you come to a human world and go and explore the inner world and get Keval Gyan, you will keep wandering. You matlab we matlab our jeev. That jeev which is consciousness, existence, all bliss, and it has been abused because of the misuse of Indriya Gyan, overuse of Indriya Gyan. You have spoiled your nervous system, you have spoiled your body, you have spoiled your mind, and you want to purify the soul. We say cleanliness is next to godliness. I would say godliness is next to cleanliness. First, feel clean in your body, in your mind, in your soul. You will experience the God in you. Our bodies need to be pure. Our mind needs to be pure. Our knowledge, our perception needs to be correct. There is so much of work to do, friends. And we are wasting this time in enjoying the cricket match, in enjoying the little concerts, and enjoying what all. And Kunda says that Kama Bhoga Bandha Katha. Infinite times we have enjoyed and we have understood. We have not understood our true self. Okay, so the structure of the loka I've told you now. What are all the texts that you will find to read more about this Loka Swarup Bhavana? In 1 hour, we cannot teach you everything, or rather inform you or tell you. In my 35 years of studying Jainism, till today, I'm a student of Jainism, and I take pride in it. I take great pride in it to tell you that I'm a student of Jainism, and after that only I'm a teacher or a preacher or a healer or anything. I'm a humble student of Jinvani. Das ka das. Okay, so you have to read books like Tattvartha Sutra, which talks about cosmology and geography, and it talks about the Urdhva, Madhya, Adholoka. Then Tilloya Pannati, 3 Loka Pragyapti, which talks about the 3 Loka. You have Kartikeyanu Preksha, in which there are 169 verses written by Kartikeya Swami on the Loka Swarupa Bhavana. Read that book. It's a great book. And I teach that book in Prakrit language. I teach that book in Prakrit language. It's so beautiful, friends. I teach Samay Sar, I teach Pravachan Sar, I teach Tattva, Sanskrit, Prakrit, Guru Bhagwans, and it's an endless journey, friends. I feel dhanya with this Jinvani profession, and I want more of you to take it up. Do your MA, do your PhD. You be the heads of the department and you give this knowledge to the world. If a Jain cannot do it, who can do it? And why the Jains are not doing it? We are all trustees of different trusts. We are all into charity. Then we are not understanding the real Jainism. We are doing dan and we are getting punya, and we are doing the bondage of shubha karma, and we are thinking we will get liberated. So Bhagwan says, without Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra, nobody can be liberated. And we sing glory of Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra, but we don't work towards it. So we are only cheating our own selves and not the world, not anybody else. We are cheating Anant Paramatma when we cheat our own self. And when you are true to yourself, you are true to Anant, Aryant and Siddhapa. You are in their Agya. So Jaina has a great responsibility to enlighten the whole world. Mankind wants this knowledge. Why are we not taking? Why don't we translate our scriptures into Japanese, into Chinese, into Korean language? How the Christians are doing with that small Bible, they are ruling the world. And with so many agamas, what are we trying to do? It's a time to question ourselves in which direction we are to go and in which direction we are going. See, friends, I'm not telling you all this. This great Jinvani that has come to me is making me tell you all this. I never thought that I'll be doing this today. See, I never prepare my lectures. I only prepare the questions, give to Prabhaji, and I speak extempore. We want to listen to all motivational speakers who will motivate us to do great relations, to do great business, to great connectivity outside. But what about the great inner connectivity that Bhagwan wants us, all of us, to do? If we can do both the connects, connect with the inner world and connect with the whole of the universe, why just a few business circle and business people? The whole universe you have to get connected. So when you get connected to your inner core, you get Keval Gyan, and in that Keval Gyan, you get connected to the whole universe. Not just people on the Bharata Kshetra or Airavat Kshetra or Mahavidya Kshetra or Adai Dvip. No, the entire Urdhva, Madhya, Adho, Lok, you get connected. So which Agam tells us Bhagwan was a Loka Vipassi? Acharang Sutra. What was Bhagwan Mahavir doing for 12.5 years? He was meditating on the upper part of the body, the lower part of the body, the middle part of the body, to go deep inside. The body, the mind wants to go out, but he was bringing it back. It took him 12.5 years to perfect that state of absorbing in the Sat Chitanand, the consciousness, existence, bliss. And I am Sat, knowledge of it is Samyak Gyan. I am consciousness, believe in it is Samyak Darshan, and enjoy being that is Samyak Charitra, bliss. That is Ratnatre. And this Ratnatre, when you enjoy, it is tap. And Bhartrahari very beautifully, he says, Tapona tapta vayameva tapta. I have done tap so many times, but I have not done the real tap. Bhogana bhukta vayameva bhukta. I have not enjoyed the pleasures, rather I have been consumed by them. Kalona yato vayameva yata. Time has not passed and I have passed. Trishnana jirna vayameva jirna. The desire doesn't become old. My body becomes old. I become old. I means the body becomes old. The mind is ever young. Okay, friends. So quickly, I will tell you that under the 4 Anuyogas, the Lokaswarup Bhavana comes under Karananuyog. In the Digambar tradition and in the Shvetamba tradition, it is called as Ganitanu Yoga. All calculations and the structure of the universe, etc., etc., etc. So what is the purpose of this Lokaswarup Bhavana? Why do we have to contemplate on this Bhavana? The purpose is to come to Dharma Dhyan, to take responsibility for ourselves, to explore the inner Loka. And what is that inner Loka? It is the Chaitanya Loka, the Loka of consciousness, which is characterized by Gyan, Darshan, Upyog, etc., etc. Okay, so now you have to tell me whether this Loka, yes, I'm just taking just a minute, I'll conclude. This Loka is eternal or non-eternal. When Gautam Swami asked Mahavir said, Siya Sasaya, Siya Asasaya. Relatively, it is eternal. Relatively, it is non-eternal. Now, to understand this relatively, you have to study Jaina logic with me and understand from the Nikshep point of view, from the Praman point of view, from the Naya point of view, etc., etc. So this talk does not end over here. We have tried to make a humble beginning, and I leave it to you to explore the Lokaswarup Bhavana and enjoy it for yourself. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your patient listening. Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, Priyaji. Very good. That is true that the knowledge is so vast. No matter how much time we give you, it will never be enough. There is just so much. I mean, think about it. They say that the amount of knowledge that there is, a very small fraction of it came in Bhagwan's Vani. Out of that, a very, very small fraction came to Gautam Gandhars, the ones who brought the knowledge. And from there also, we have a very, very minuscule, tiny part of it available in our Shastras. But for us, those Shastras are so much that even those, I don't think any of us can possibly read them all in this lifetime. So we obviously have to find a mechanism to do this very quickly rather than take the stairs, take elevator, and which is to focus on only understand the true nature of soul, get to know it, learn to be in it, and that's the fastest way towards this path. We can try to gain all the knowledge, but there's not going to be enough time for us. But that also tells us that, hey, since time is short, let me spend my maximum time. You know, I got very inspired by Dr. Ujjwala Shah. She was a physician and her husband a lawyer and had a shop and all. They both, when they realized how critical this is for them to do, they both quit their professions and wanted to do this 24/7 in their life. That's how important, they realized it is. And they're not alone. A lot of people have felt like that, including me. I gave up my career, and I certainly feel this was definitely well worth it. Staying in my career would have only given me, maybe another bunch of extra dollars that'll sit in my bank when I die. So this is time well spent for all of you. So let's go to questions that Priyaji has prepared, and that'll be sort of a revision, and hopefully you've understood her so well, you should be able to answer them quickly. State one difference between Sansar Bhavana and Lok Swarup Bhavana. And we have heard the Sansar Bhavana talk as well as today the Lok Bhav.
So in Sansar Bhavana, it basically talks about the not good things, why it's not worth pursuing. And in Lok Bhavana, it's really more on the focus of knowing oneself and thereby also knowing nature. And so therefore why you would focus on how much more advantageous it is, therefore being within one's own lok.
Very good, very good. So basically, yes, Sansar Bhavana explained the futility of being in this transient world. Okay, very good. Second question, what is the structure of the lok? Yeah, this is very simple. Our junior speaker showed you a picture of it. I see some new faces here. If you don't mind, Jessica, Robin, if you're able to, please turn your cameras on, videos on, just for this question answer session.
It's basically the image. It's a human form with the hands on your waist.
On their waist, yes, very good. All right, and no answer is wrong. And even if you get it wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. This because, hey, we are here to learn, right? So it's absolutely fine. In how many verses Has this bhavana been discussed in the text of Kartike Anupreksha? And who is the author of Kartike Anupreksha?
169 verses,
Wow,
but
very
don't know
good.
the author.
And who is the author? You don't remember?
I didn't catch it.
Kartike Anupreksha.
Yes.
Kartike Swami.
Yeah,
Oh,
it says
Kartikeya
right.
Swami. That's right. That's right.
It says right there in the name of it, right? Okay.
True, true.
All right. So the next question. Lok is eternal or non-eternal? Explain in your own words.
I think Swasti wants to talk, but she's on mute.
Swasti, are you muted, beta?
Yeah.
Okay, now she could unmute. Okay.
Lok is eternal.
It is eternal according to you. All right. Anybody else?
Nitya.
It's eternal
Nitya
and
and Anitya both. Very
Anitya,
good.
yeah.
Okay, how about we look at with what perspective is it eternal and with what perspective it is non-eternal? Swasti, do you want to go first? You said eternal.
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
With what perspective it is eternal? It's relatively eternal and relatively non-eternal.
From
If
Nishtay.
you guys don't remember, then Pridarshana is going to explain to us again.
It is eternal from perspective of Dravya Gun, because matter is not created nor destroyed.
Okay.
It is also eternal from the perspective of the soul, right? But it is also through the process of change. It is things constantly change.
It's changing. The modifications are happening, and that's why it is
What is the Hindi word? What is changing?
Paryay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So from Dravya Gun Paryay, both explain the eternal part of it and the not eternal part of it.
Okay. So let me ask Priyaji to comment. Do you want to add more to their answers, or
Just 1 minute.
are you talking? Are you muted, Priyaji?
No, I'm talking. Now
Okay,
I'm going
there
to
we
talk. I was
Yeah,
not
go
talking,
ahead.
I was asking for your
Okay.
permission.
Yeah, go
We
ahead.
have to interpret this word loka from the Dravya Kshetra Kala Bhav point of view. From the Dravya and Kshetra point of view, the lok is eternal, and Kal and Bhav point of view, it is non-eternal, which keep changing.
Yes,
Dravya means the whole universe will comprise of the 6 dravyas.
Mm-hmm.
That they are eternal. Kshetra, the place, the 14 Rajju is also eternal. But time is operating, no? So everything is undergoing change, the Paryay. From the Kal point of view, it is changing. And the Bhav, we were children, then we were adults, and now we are in the, our Paryay keeps on changing. The Bhav keeps on changing. Morning one Bhav, afternoon one Bhav, evening one Bhav. So in Samaik itself, when you do Samaik, you will see the Bhav, how they keep changing. So the Bhav world is ever changing. Even though we are eternal, the ocean is eternal, the waves are non-eternal. So Atma is Jnana Samudra, which is eternal, and the waves of Gyan, Paryay, are non-eternal. That's all, Prabhaji. Over to you.
Dr. Jain, is the bhav when you talk, is it the 5 bhavs that we learned? The opshamik,
Yes.
the shayopshamik bhav, the dynamic bhav? Such?
That parinamic bhav is the eternal bhav.
Okay.
Right? Whereas all these adai
And in
keep
everything.
changing. Everything keeps changing.
Right.
Yet
Also,
unchanging. So you have to read Jain philosophy deeper to understand the changing, unchanging soul and the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
will do.
Okay.
Read Tattvar Sutra,
Sure.
read Sarvartha Siddhi.
Which agam has described Bhagwan Mahavir as Lokavipassi? Who remembers that agam name?
I think Shobhaji can answer.
Acharang Sutram.
Very
Oh.
good. Oh, it's showing Simma Kuti. So I was confused. I thought it was you, Shobhaji.
Sorry, I logged in my husband's name.
No
Sorry.
problem. Okay. Description of lok falls under which anuyog? That's very simple. Let me see if I can. Jessica, were you able to grasp most of what you heard today? Or some of
It
it?
was all fairly new.
I understand. Was it difficult for you to understand, or sort of could you make sense out of it?
Some of it and some of it not.
All right, no problem, no problem. Claudia has been with us pretty much most of the days. Do you happen to remember what she kind of said that towards the end? Which anuyog this falls under?
I'm sorry, I've lost the question now in there.
Okay,
Go
it says this
repeat the
lok, which anuyog it falls under, this description, description of lok falls under which anuyog, if you remember.
I
I'm
can,
sorry. Wait, let Claudia try first.
Okay.
Are you going to try, Claudia? Remember we talked about the four
Yeah,
styles of
Well,
scripture?
the one that begins with the K, which I can't pronounce at the moment.
You got it,
Karananuyog.
Karananuyog. That's it. You're right. Good job,
I know
Claudia.
which one. I know which one it is. I just can't say it at the moment.
Yep, no problem. No problem. Hey, it's fine. You can remember it as D, K, P, and that's fine. I do that in my notes all the time, so that's no problem. Okay, the next one. Name the
Prabha, what is the other name for Karananuyog? Ask Bhupendra Rai.
No.
Ganitanuyog. Very good. Very good.
Ganitanuyog. Okay, good. All right. So next question. Name the dravyas in the lok.
Oh,
You've heard this multiple times. 6 dravyas. She said it again. You guys
cannot
are
give
too
the
mature, Hemal,
technical
to
words.
answer. Let me ask somebody else.
Prabhaji, if they cannot give the technical words, they can give the translations.
Yeah. That's fine. Let's see. Anybody else other than who has raised their hands? I know, Rupal, you're dancing. I know you know them. They're my students, by the way, Priyaji. That's why they're all jumping up and down. Sonalji, would you like to try the 6 Dravya's name?
I don't know the answers to any of these questions.
Okay, I'll get you started. How about this? Jeev.
Achieve. Dharmastika, Adharmastika.
So Jeev and then Pudgal. Then you're right, Bhupendra Bhai, whatever you're saying.
Dharmastika, Kal, and
Akash.
Akash.
Okay, so their order is Jivastikai, Pudgalastikai, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, Akashtikai, and Kal. Kal is not Astikai, okay? Name a few texts which describe the lok. She just said those at the end. I know they're not easy to remember just because you heard it once, but try.
not with the computer though. You spent enough computer time. Right.
Okay, one starts with Triloka something.
Tatwa, Triloka. Kilopanati. It's also in Kartikeya and Upeksha.
You got it mostly. The last one is Jambudvi Pragnapti. And I'm sure there's more, but yeah. What is the purpose of description of Lok Swarup Bhavana? That's an important question. Yes, Hemal?
To reflect on our inner world. To go inside. Go inside.
Yes, more importantly, to take responsibility for ourselves.
Correct. To make them understand the true nature of reality.
Right.
Yes.
Necessary for right faith knowledge.
And then where do we live right now?
Madhyalok.
That was a trick question.
In Sansar.
Is that going to get you moksha if you live in sansar?
No.
So then where should you be living?
Oh, in your Atma.
In Atma.
There we go. In your Chaitanya lok. Okay.
That
So
was it.
that's all the questions Priyaji had for you guys.
Very good. Thank you so
Now
much.
we don't have much time, but we do have 5 minutes if you guys want to ask her something.
The question answer sessions are so much fun. They really test your knowledge. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so everybody understood everything about Lok Bhavana. I can go on and ask you guys some more questions.
We can do our best.
Oh.
We can try.
Okay, who wants to go to Narak?
No one.
None of us.
Why not?
Why not,
हमने
Tara?
कर्म तो किए नरक जाने के और जाना है स्वर्ग. No, it should not matter to you. Once you do the nirnay of who you are, it does not matter whether I go to Swarg or I go to Narak. I'm going to stay in my Chaitanya Lok. So why does it matter?
Yes. We have to keep Chaitanya Lok in mind.
Yes.
Even
So
our
there's
next
no need to wish for Swarg or wish for whatever, right?
Right.
even our next Tirthankar is in Narak.
Right, and he doesn't care. He's completely blissful and happy even though he's in Narak.
So once you
Prabhaji, can
get
I
the,
say something?
Yes.
Prabhaji, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Right. So in a school, a teacher went and asked the children, little children, that there are two trains outside. One that will take you to heaven, the other one that will take you to hell. Where do you all want to go? And she gave the little description of heaven and hell. So out of the 40 children, 39 children put their hands up for heaven. One child never put his hand up. So now the teacher asked the child, where do you want to go? You don't want to go to heaven? He said, no. Then she said, do you want to go to hell? He said, no. Then where do you want to go? She said, I'm mama's boy. Mama said, don't go anywhere. Come home straight. I want to go home. So we all also should want to go to our inner home. And in Tirukural, it is called Aram Porul Inbam Veed. Moksha is called as Veed. Veed means house, home, home sweet home, where you can rest forever and ever eternally. So whether you go to heaven or hell because of your karma uday, but learn to go home wherever you are. Be in
That
your
is
home.
Dhruva Dham. Dhruva Dham.
Dhruva Dham, yes, Chaitanya ki Aradhana, yes.
Swadham.
That's
Yeah,
all,
we just
Prabhaji.
heard everywhere else we are going to be thrown out. Dhruv Dham is the only place where we can be ourselves and be there forever and ever. In this bhav or any bhav, we can want to stay as long as we want, but we don't have a choice. If we don't take that opportunity, we will be thrown out.
Prabhaji, when we have Christian students, we tell them that it is written in the Bible that the kingdom of God is within.
Yes.
So we talk to them in their biblical language and we tell them about what real Christianity is, what real Islam is. That is how we do Jain philosophy at the university level. That's it, Prabhaji.
Very good. Actually, Claudia sometimes relates to that, right? Claudia, you've told us some, verses that you could relate to.
Yes, most of my study in the mystics has been in like the Spanish mystics of the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries. But today, what I was struck by was when you're talking about the inner loke and the outer loke was, you may know this guy because of your work with the interfaith community. Paryushan Schmidt has an idea of the fractal nature of every religion, that every religion has the inner image, which is the same as the outer image. And that when you get out of the outer image and come to the inner image, that's when you found the true religion of it.
They all say it in different languages, but it's very important that we understand it very clearly to ourselves. It doesn't matter what words it's said to us in, but we must get a clear understanding of it. Okay, very good. So we're almost out of time. And in case anybody has a comment or anything, we have a minute or two. Otherwise, we'll say our prayers today. Okay. Another wonderful session, Priyaji. Khamemi sarve jiva khamantu me mitti me sarva bhuvesu veram majjam na kenai Sahajanandi Shuddha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup Sahajanandi Shuddha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup Sahajanandi Shuddha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार है जय जिनेन्द्र everybody. See you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Jinendra.
Prabha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabha.